Hello and welcome back to the Football Terrace. Arsenal beats Liverpool in the Community Shield. The Scousers and Jurgen Klopp start the new campaign with defeat. An average performance at best, I would say. I was going to say lackluster. Maybe that's a bit disrespectful. I've had a hell of a lot of Liverpool fans tell me how impressed they've been with Liverpool in pre-season, but today ends in a defeat on penalties. Riyad Brewster missing. He's brought on as a sub-2 score's penalty, and he not quite over, hit the crossbar and goes over, but a poor penalty from him. Arsenal, for me, with another dogged performance, another pragmatic performance against one of the big boys, and they underwent a spell of pressure in the second half where they looked maybe a little bit shaky in the central areas, but defensively sound as you like, sweet as a nut. And it's another really good performance. And that cannot be escaped from when it comes to Arsenal against a big team. And I'm going to ask this question right now, live. Before that, smash the living daylights out of the like button. I want to ask you this question now. Are Arsenal brewing and creating something a little bit special here? I want to hear from Gooners. I want to hear from Liverpool fans. The link is inside the description below if you want to call in. First up on the show, we have Laurie next. Laurie, welcome back to the show, my friend. What you saying?
Yeah, I'm good, bro. I'm good. Been a long while. Can I just say one thing, Terry? I know it's slightly not football related, but I just want to confirm. I've been sorting out a few things, and on Monday I graduated. So I've definitely graduated from uni now.
Top man, well done. What did you graduate in? What was your subject?
Early years education. So
nice.
A couple more years before I get onto the teaching. But anyway, nevertheless,
well done. Congratulations to you, especially in the tough time with CV19. Difficult to get these things done. So a big well done to you, brother.
Thank you. So yeah, onto the match. I'm obviously I've been backing Arteta. I don't know. Something seems to be brewing, but I don't want to get carried away because that was the Community Shield. So yes, it's another trophy, glorified friendly, whatever you want to call it. But I just don't want to get carried away yet. But you can see something is happening.
And I get that. But I suppose the caveat to that is we've had the likes of Ram and other Liverpool fans come on here and tell us that they're winning the league. And one of the reasons is we have looked so sharp and so brilliant in training. So if you're going to take training drills into consideration for you winning the league, you have to look at today's performance. And for me, I saw another Liverpool display today that reminded me of nearly every performance from March onwards. And I'm talking before lockdown, after lockdown, where they just look a little bit lackluster and they don't look as dangerous and potent. I'm really sorry to say it, but Liverpool there seems to be... You imagine like a heavyweight boxer, David Hay losing his punch power. When David Hay lost that knockout punch power, he become people weren't scared of him anymore. He was being called out by men like Bellew that in his heyday he would have ate for breakfast. So it's interesting to see what they do. But big shout out to Arsenal. How do you feel about this pragmatic approach in the big games? Do you think is it something you want to see stuck with for a while?
Like I said, after the FA Cup win. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, and points win prizes at the end of the day. And we did play like this under George Graham. So the ugly football comes back, but we're producing from it. We get into the top four. We get back into the Champions League. We possibly can challenge for the title. I'm not getting as I said, too carried away. Then I'm all for it. So negativity can be positivity as well. If it
I completely and utterly agree. Laurie, thank you very much for coming on, my bro. We'll chat to you again soon, my man. Thank you. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Zane here with a super chat says Arteta 2, Ollie 0. Listen, Zane, how rent-free do Man United live in your head? You've beaten Chelsea and Liverpool in finals, and you come for United. Man United are massive. Man United are so big that when you beat another major team in a final, you come chat about us, bruv. This is why I feel honored to be a Man United fan. You can't get us out of your head, bruv. Honestly. Did your girlfriend cheat on you with a Man United fan? It has to have been that. Do you know what I mean? You've seen the pictures. They got released, and there's a picture of Sir Alex over the guy's bed as he's doing your missus. That's what it's got to be, Zane. Has to be that, my bro. Next up on the show, we have my guy Igal in the house.
Wakanda forever. R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, 100%. We spoke about that on our stream this morning. Shocking and saddening news to lose such a wonderful man, a fantastic actor and artist. And do you know what's mad? I remember being in the cinema when he walks out in the Endgame scene. I remember saying to my boy, I was like, looking a bit skinny, you know. And we just assumed it was because he'd be getting in shape for a different film, a different role, right? And obviously devastating to find out the real reasons behind that. But yeah, big the guy up. He'll be a legend forever on the silver screen in life. So 110% back you on that. On to Arsenal. By the way, we're not taking Skype calls. Please stop calling in on Skype. Don't do that, please. Another pragmatic display. Another scalp of a major team. How impressed are you with the way that Arteta is shaping up your side and without a lot of your new signings, I will add?
Terry, this has been the most impressive thing to me in a while. Arteta has come in. He has won a game against all the top 4 teams. He's beaten Liverpool. He's beaten Man City. He's beaten Man United one time this season. And he's also beaten Chelsea. So in addition to that, he's shown that he's focused on building the defense with Tierney, bringing in William Saliba, bringing in Gabriel, already having experienced defenders such as David Luiz and Pablo Mari and Socrates and Mustafi in the club. We need to focus on the midfield. But taking away from all that, today we had 15 shots, and you can tell me that Liverpool dominated the game, but were we actually threatened until that goal that they scored, which was a little bit lucky, in my opinion, based on all the bobbles and bounces that it took. It had to fall off our right back's chest to land in front of the net for Minamino to score a goal. And in my opinion, as an Arsenal fan, I'm happy and I'm not going to get carried away. But what I will say is this right here is one of those things where it shows me that next season we're going to be a problem for teams, because defensively we showed today with a team that was taking chances time after time that we were up for it. We were not getting exposed. We were not giving away one-on-one chances, and we were not doing individual errors, which beat us last season. So that right there, Terry, is an extreme positive, and I'm gassed.
I would be as well. I mean, if you get defensive stability right, it's the sky's the limit. You can grow from there massively. You can. A comment here from who me says, I will be stop Mane and Salah. There's no potency at all. There looks to be no plan B. And this is the interesting thing. We're going to add O'Shea to the stream now as well. And Samuel, of course, O'Shea is a Liverpool fan. Samuel is an Arsenal fan. I want to go to O'Shea right now because for me today, I'm trying to not sound salty. I'm trying to be objective. But in my very humble opinion, I look at that performance today from Liverpool, and it just reminds me of the lackluster and no performances with no potency that we saw all the way from March before lockdown right through to the end of the season, generally speaking. What did you make of it as a Liverpool fan?
First of all, I just want to say rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. It's very sad to hear that this morning. But yeah, obviously, look, congratulations to Arsenal. They put in a defensive performance was incredible from them. Can't fault them from that. Even as a Liverpool fan, I want to be salty. I want to make excuses, but the defensive performance was second to none from Arsenal. I can't fault them with that. Especially Kieran Tierney put in a fantastic performance. I think you know what it is, Terry. I noticed with the match is sloppiness, man. We lost the match for me due to sloppiness. You look at some of the passes and the reactions. It wasn't there. It just none of the reactions were there. The passes weren't there. Personally, for me, I feel like had Trent been playing, because sometimes one player can make the difference. And if you notice on that right side, Nico Williams was very sloppy. And I'm not going to get onto him too much because he's a kid and he's not. Do you know what I mean? He's young and he's not as Curtis Jones, so he's young. But I feel like had Trent been playing, some of those crosses going in would have had a lot more accuracy. Would have found Mane or Salah. Then because relying on Robertson all the time, which is what we were doing this game. You can't. We need both fullbacks. So I feel like for me it's just sloppiness, man. Sloppiness lost us the game. But like I said, all credit to Arsenal.
Samuel, what's your views on this match specifically? And then I'd love you to elaborate on how you think this could transpire for your season and Liverpool's respectively.
Listen, if I was a Liverpool fan, I'll be quite concerned, because if Man City invest, which everyone knows they will, Liverpool will really struggle this season because you got Chelsea coming in now as extra competition. You could say Liverpool will never had any threats, but this season is a real test for Liverpool because you got City, maybe Koulibaly or not, and you got Chelsea. But for us, I think the signs are there, and it's very encouraging because look, the defenders we signed for this summer window is not even there today. We had David Luiz at the back, and we had to play Ainsley. Well, Maitland-Niles, he should not leave. We should keep him by any means necessary, because today he showed why we should keep him. Absolutely brilliant again.
Mate, I agree with you on. Do you know? I thought when I saw that today, my first thought was quite literally, imagine letting this guy go to Wolves now. After that, like it could be one of those egg on your face moments. It was such a good display from him, man of the match, in my opinion. Saka, of course, comes close in that regard, but it was a brilliant
I
performance from him.
want to say something.
Go on, mate. Go for it.
Liverpool played their first team. They had 2 players missing, Henderson and Trent. They played their first team. Arsenal played far from our best team that we could play if you have all our players fit and everyone that we brought in. So when you take it into that perspective, the champions of the English League, the Premier League holders faced us. And yes, you guys banter us all the time, but we stood up against a team that won the league, and we had barely any of our midfielders from last season. We missed Ceballos. We missed our Pepe. We're missing Lacazette. So when you're thinking about, we're missing a lot of main starters in the defense. We would be missing William Saliba, who'd be starting. In addition to that, Leno is our starting goalkeeper, but Martinez, to me, he takes that spot. If you sell Martinez, the board, you are crazy. Do not sell him. Keep him. Okay, that's one thing. And number 2, finally, Terry, guys need to start putting respect on Arsenal's defense, because we have shown in the FA Cup final, this game against Man City in the final leg, and in addition to that, our run at the end of the season gets disrespected. So finally, start putting respect on Arteta and how he's building from the back.
Well, I think what you say was right about that. And listen, I pulled on this thread weeks ago, and it feels like a theory that's going to come to fruition. Maybe in 2 or 3 years it'll be different. I think against the teams of your equal to you and below you, you're going to attack. Equal to you, you'll be 50-50. And then the teams that are better than you on paper, like today, you were going to play this kind of, and I'm using the peak Jose, peak Diego Simeone. I think you'll play pragmatically. And what I love about that is a manager that understands that if he opens up and goes toe-to-toe with teams that are technically better than him and have better players, more often than not, you'll lose. And that's where Wenger started to go wrong towards the end. During the 90s and early noughties, Arsenal were the most superior team in the Premier League every season when it comes to technical football. The only team that could compete with you in the league, primarily for most of those years, was Man United, because we had a very, very good team as well. As the years went on, Arsenal's quality of player dropped, other quality of teams improved, but he never adapted to that. He never used that approach, if you get where I'm coming from. And it's where I feel Liverpool went wrong today. Liverpool had no answer for you, really. As you say, it took a couple of lucky deflections to lead to their goal. They couldn't really break you down. They looked lost. And when you're supposedly the best attacking 3, as a collective 3 in the world, to not know how to break Arsenal down is pretty poor. And that's because you've got this great stability. O'Shea, are you worried that more teams, when teams go pragmatic against you, when they stop your fullbacks in one way, shape or form, you guys look really weak? Are you worried going into the next season with no new signings and maybe only Thiago? Do you think after watching that, FSG have to open up their checkbooks?
Yeah, I do. I do feel like we need to sign more players than just Thiago. But I'm not too worried, because it is a preseason and we haven't been, it's every preseason, all teams are a bit sloppy. So I'm not too worried about it. I think depending on how our opening game against Leeds goes, that may kickstart our momentum. But
there's a comment,
like I said, I do think that.
So there's a comment from Tyrone that says, I think we could start to regret not getting Werner because Firmino has been poor in the last 12 months. I think he means in terms of scoring goals. Hopefully he can bounce back, which I think is true. We're going to add a few more people to the stream now. We're going to add Ram into the stream. We're going to add in my guy, Latimer's Prime, and we're also going to add in my guy, Monstar. Gentlemen, how are we all doing this evening?
Good. Werner scored.
You
Can I just
talking
make sure?
preseason?
Can you guys hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Yeah, we hear you, Monster.
I want to go to Ram first because obviously you're a Liverpool fan. You lose today. We know how worried you were at the end of last season with rivals coming through. What did you make of today's performance?
You're on mute.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was lackluster performance. I think passing wise, it was poor. So many sloppy passes around. We tried to make do with Andy Robertson just putting the ball in. He did his best, but just wouldn't go through. We had to. The only time where I actually felt confident was when Minamino came on, and he sort of gave a little spark to everyone else. We started actually playing some proper football, and then when we got the goal, we went back to our normal ways of just sloppy football, just passing it around, just waiting for the full-time whistle, which is annoying, and annoying.
Yeah, I mean, are you worried? I mean, Liverpool fans always like to paint this picture that the world's sunshine and rainbows. We've got these 3 or 4 players. We don't need to buy whatever it may be. Today, just again, this is my point. I'm not even trying to throw salt on wounds. You look no different today than you did in the post lockdown games, and the excuse was we'd won the league. We were just reserving ourselves to the start of next year. Before that, it was like there's been an excuse now for 6 months. Liverpool's performance is not quite being as potent, as deadly, as dangerous. But what I'm starting to see, and I mean this, and I'm trying even not to sound salty, I feel like people are losing a bit of fear factor. People aren't scared of Liverpool anymore. Monster, I want to go to you because, of course, you tipped Chelsea to win the league this forthcoming season. Is there anything you saw in this Liverpool team that worries you?
First of all, once again, I'd like to pray for my rivals, of course. Number 2, I've been told you nothing about Liverpool scares me. I told you it's their time's up. You know what I mean? They had their little one season wonder. It's time for the coronation of the new champions. Do you know what I mean? Starting from week 2, as I've said before. Do you know what I mean? Starting week 2 when we slap them about 3 or 4-0. Do you know what I mean? That's when we start the coronation of the new champions. Chelsea FC. The Premier League is coming back to Stamford Bridge. Peace, my people. Do you know what I mean?
Slow your roll. You drew against Brighton in a preseason game.
Yeah,
that's a preseason.
Well done.
You have
Well
nothing
done.
to be excited about yet. You have to see your first game.
Game serious. Like we
This is kind of like a preseason game. If you're gonna
Ram, why are you speaking though? You lost today.
Ram. I need to address you now like I'm your dad, son. It was less than a week ago you said Liverpool winning the league based on a 30-second training clip you saw. So how dare you say preseason games can't give somebody an insight to how their season is going to go if a fucking training session does it?
Wait, he actually said that. He actually said that.
Ram said that. So I'm sorry, Sunshine. I can't allow you to get off the hook with that, bro. You can't.
Terry, I would say about the Liverpool Arsenal game. Let's be honest. Arsenal were not that much better than Liverpool. It ended in penalties, which means the teams were pretty much quite equal. So I do understand. I don't think necessarily Arsenal were necessarily that much better. I think they might have defended better, but I don't think either team were anywhere better than each other. I think they were kind of on par.
No, but that was their full team, Monster. That was a heavily changed Arsenal team. And also, you cannot take into effect, we played defensively. And what I was saying is, defensive performance, a
full team without Trent Alexander-Arnold and Jordan Henderson, who we know with Henderson that when he doesn't play, Liverpool lose like 50% of their games.
My point is, we beat the champions. They only had 2 changes, and defensively, our performance shows you that we're somebody you should be worried about. Because attacking wise, we've been always good, but defensively, we've always been shaky. Today, we've been solid, and that's what I'm taking away from it.
But the caveat is they missed 2 big players. Also about Liverpool, something that Liverpool fans have been telling me, not you, Ram, specifically, but Liverpool fans have been telling me is that. Sorry, I'm on to interrupt. You can go.
None of like.
Go ahead, Monster.
Hello?
Can't hear him.
I think he's signal.
Okay. What I was saying.
What I would say about players being missing is 2 things. One, Liverpool fans don't like either one of these 2 questions. They don't like it when you say what happens if two big players get injured? Can you cope? They say yes. So if they can cope months with major injuries, missing two players for today's game should have zero bearing on them performing so poorly. That's one. Secondly, Arsenal didn't have all their main players either. They didn't start
That's true. But what I was going to bring up is the fact that
millions to come in as an example. You know, they've Gabriel to come into this team. You've got Saliba to come into this team. So I would say Arsenal had more players missing than Liverpool. So I think even if they're equal, like Monstar said, Liverpool the superior team. So Arsenal being equal to them is poor from Liverpool. It's all three of those things are an L for Liverpool, in my opinion.
But what I was going to bring up is Liverpool fans have been telling me that they've been through this amazing pre-season regime. They've been training really hard. Apparently, their last pre-season game that they had 2 hours beforehand, they had just come off an intense, rigorous training session and everything. They were telling me that they'd go into this as it wouldn't be taken as seriously because apparently they have another pre-season game before the league starts and everything. So if they were telling me that and they're champions, I've thrown a lot of banter towards Liverpool. So I was like, fine, I'll take it seriously. Going into this game, that is what I was expecting. But that spark was gone. And without Trent, which is why they need someone like Thiago, because without Trent providing that creativity, I don't see how they break teams down. Also, with Firmino, you saw when Malamino came on and he scored. That is why you need someone like a Timo Werner or someone who can get you goals, either as a starter replacing Firmino or someone coming off the bench.
Rack, Liverpool fan with this performance today from your boys. Did this make you concerned at all? Lack of signings. You know you didn't end the season well. You know your form before lockdown wasn't good. Are there any creeping concerns coming into the back of your mind or whisperings behind the scenes from Liverpool fans? Or do you think this is rivals like myself being hopeful? What's your opinion, mate?
Was our form post-lockdown that bad? I think we played 12 games. We drew 2 and lost 2. It's not that bad. I think in general...
In your last 10 games on form, you were worse than Chelsea.
Okay. Were Chelsea good?
No.
I think we got 21 points and you got 20.
Oh, okay.
No, just to tell you something, Southampton had better form than you post-lockdown. So
what I'm saying, I don't think Liverpool become a bad team. The point is, prior to that, you were so superior to everybody. And what I'm saying is, if you look at the last 5, 6, 7 games before lockdown, you won quite a few of them, but you remember the scrapey wins against the West Hams and the other teams, not smashed up in the FA Cup, smashed up in the Champions League, intermittent performances, losing, you lost more games post-lockdown than I think you'd lost for the previous 2 years almost put together. And what I'm saying is, and it was lackluster performances, you started this season off with another one, and you may think there's nothing in this at all. So I'm asking you, is this us being hopeful, or have you got in the back of your mind, honestly, any concerns at all about the way you're starting this season?
Look, I think that if there was more of a body of evidence to support the fact that I should be concerned, then I would be concerned. But right now, I'm not concerned. Let's see what happens when the real season kicks off, and we'll see. You could be right. Shit does happen. Sometimes when you win a league, then teams dip a season. Chelsea know that very well. But right now, which is
why, as a Chelsea fan, I've been on to you guys about your lack of signings. Because I've seen under Jose, we won when he came back. We won the league.
Okay. But, lack of signings. No one signed anyone this season apart from you guys. You signed a substantial number of players, but
My point is, you guys are Premier League champions. City have signed 2 players now.
Okay.
They're supposed to be your closest rivals. I know, but that's my point. If you guys,
but they've also lost David Silva, who's probably one of their most important, if not their most important. So swings and roundabouts a little bit.
But my point is, as Premier League champions, and I'm assuming you do want to retain your first ever Premier League title.
Sure.
You haven't shown.
I want to retain our 19th title.
But whatever. You haven't shown anything You haven't shown anything in the transfer market to do it. And people can say about this is the first game of the season, and you haven't shown like you're going to be as competitive as you were last season.
The transfer market has collapsed. I don't know if you've noticed. The transfer market has collapsed. Right?
Not for us.
So So yeah,
It's
sure.
collapsed, but yes, but yeah, Werner wanted to join you guys.
Chelsea, in a sense, are you in a bit of a unique situation, along with probably City and maybe PSG or something like that. You know, there's been some activity at Arsenal, but you know, this shit's been pretty real out there when you look
Rack,
at.
don't underestimate your owner. Your owners are the same owners in America who won the league with the Boston Red Sox. I mean, the Boston Red Sox, and then the next season sold their best players. So they're known for they're known for not investing.
Rack, don't get me.
Egal, 1 second. They also the same owners that after over 100 years with the Boston Red Sox not winning the World Series, won the World Series. Since they won the World Series, no other team has won as many World Series as FSG. So relax with that, man.
No, for me, I think this is all very reactionary. I'm not gonna lie. I said that this is, for me, this game's always been a friendly. Like it's always been a friendly.
Like, if you look at last season Community Shield, we weren't that great as well. But after what happened with the exact same result, we end up having a great season.
Yeah,
so
I get that. The point is, this is very different, and this is the nuance that's being missed here. There's been a 2 or 3 week gap since the end of the last, maybe a 4 week gap since the end of the last season. The form at the end of last season wasn't great, in my opinion, for Liverpool. The form before lockdown wasn't great. This isn't, and you were brilliant in your last 10, 15 games before the season end. You went out on a bang. You do your pre-season. Your first couple of games, you look a bit lackluster because your first Premier League game against Norwich, you know, you conceded lots of chances, even though I think you won the game 4-1, maybe
4-0, something like that.
Sorry, yeah. But that's understandable. This is a very different year. There's something. There just feels to me like there's something that isn't quite right. Am I saying Liverpool won't win the league? No, I still make you favourites. But what I'm seeing more on socials is just every day more and more Liverpool fans getting a bit tentative, getting a bit frustrated, and I don't think today is going to help. I think what you'd like to see, and this is the thing, ain't about the result of the Community Shield. It's a performance. There just wasn't one. Liverpool, to me, missing 2 of their best players, look toothless, absolutely toothless.
We did. Mane had 2 1-on-1s with a goalkeeper. I mean, we did create some chances.
And he missed them.
I know, but you said we didn't create chances. We did create chances.
But no, you look
shots.
Oh, yeah.
Shots.
Yeah, but the thing was, I'm watching as a neutral here, right? And I don't want, semi-neutral, because I don't want them, right? However, I'm watching it, and you had those one-on-ones. I swear to you, my daughter's birthday tomorrow, birthday party today. That's why I wasn't doing watch-alongs for this game. I didn't feel threatened, as in terms of I didn't feel like he was about to equalise. There's just something about watching Liverpool at the moment where I'm going on that, and it's a genuine.
Mo Salah with that new trim looks like Trezeguet from Aston Villa.
The minute I saw that pic of Salah, no haircut, I said he's going to be finished.
You all know the story of Samson, don't you? Is it Samson who cut his hair off and looked at his hair? Yeah, there we go. Maybe that's.
Is it now more evident that you guys need a midfield signing like Thiago now that Milner's legs? I feel like Milner's legs are gone.
Egal. A lot of Liverpool fans have been saying we want Thiago. No, any idiot in the world would not say, "Oh, I don't want Thiago."
Well, apparently he's going to come on to say.
No, wait. Thiago is the creme de la creme of midfielders. He is like.
That's true, but you said the same thing about Werner, and you guys didn't sign him. I think that's the point you guys was trying to make.
Bro. I did say I wanted Werner. I did say.
No. The point is that will you guys actually sign him? I think that's the point.
Well, it looks like Wijnaldum doesn't want to renew his contract. There have been some problems with his contract, and if there going to be problems, then it looks like Thiago is going to be the replacement for him, which would be a massive upgrade. I would love to have both players.
That's a bit harsh on Gini, Ram. I think.
If Man City get Messi,
I love Gini, but
consistent 2 seasons.
Thiago is world class. Thiago's probably one of the top 5.
And he can play at the level until he's like 33.
Wait, you said
what kind of player he is.
We're going around in circles here. You know what's going on here? What's happening is, and I've said this about the Liverpool fan base for a long while, there's so much about it that I respect, even as a rival. How you stick together. You, generally speaking, don't throw your own under the bus unless it's within the Overton window to do so, like Karius, and then you all do that together. The problem you've had is that nobody's wanted to admit, and I've been pulling on this string for 6 months. Nobody wants to admit and say out loud the person that would get dropped if Thiago or Werner comes in. You all want to act a little bit like Chelsea fans doing it a bit with the Mason Mount thing. You want to almost create a new rule where you can have 12 players on the pitch. And now that you're looking a bit leggy, now you're like, oh, but we might get Thiago, the players thinking of leaving. People are now in this, they're literally between the rock and the hard place of going, I don't know what opinion to have. That's all that I can hear here. It's like straight up, Thiago's better than every single midfielder you've got. When you sign him, one of your 3 main men are being dropped. It's likely to be Genie because they're not giving Genie a new deal. If they offered Genie a new deal, I think he'd sign it. Liverpool are the ones who have not entered negotiation.
I think there's been a contract on the table for a while. I think we were trying to get him signed for a while, but for whatever reason, the deal hasn't been done. And that may be partial on Genie's part, and it may be partial on the club's part. Maybe they're not offering enough. But I think they've been trying. I think it's pretty well known, at least most publications that I've kind of come across, saying that we do want to sign him, or we have wanted to sign him. Maybe now that 2 years.
Guys, we've got Dwayne. We've got Dwayne, one of our members, on the line here. Dwayne's a Liverpool fan. What do you want to say, bro? You started the season with an L. How you feeling?
I just want people to remember one thing. I understand that Arsenal won the game. Plaudits to them, they won. But just remember that when Liverpool lost the Charity Shield, the Community Shield last season, we ended up winning the league. We had a top run. And the thing is, even Klopp said in his interview before the game, he views it as a friendly. So I'm not really looking too much into it. It's just a game where we see where our weaknesses are. And people mustn't also forget that the transfer window is still open. I understand that Chelsea fans wish everyone can spend like them. But remember, Liverpool in the league was much, much higher than them when they finished. And Chelsea does need to come up to their standards. But also at the same time, Jurgen Klopp has set standards for this team. This team is not just a bunch of single players. They are a bunch of team players that play in a particular system. And guaranteed Thiago will be a Liverpool player because Liverpool needs that creativity. The loss actually for Liverpool is a better result in my opinion, because I feel that the club will now know that they need to really strengthen. And remember also that in the past 2 seasons we amounted over 90 points. So there's no 2 ways that this team knows how to win. Chelsea coming into next season with a brand new fresh team, are they going to hit their levels of consistency with the brilliant players that they have? Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But one thing I can guarantee you for sure is that come start of the season, Liverpool will be challenging for titles.
You say that, but
it's not about challenging, it's about winning it though, no?
Yeah, you can't win the league the season before and then come into this one saying we're going to be challenging. Like,
especially when you're favourite.
Therefore you've got worse.
And don't forget how your levels dropped after you won it. The way your levels dropped, this has happened to Arsenal. Our levels dropped, and we lost the league by a point to Man United the next season. These kind of things happen. Retaining the league is not the same as winning the league. Retaining the league.
But also remember, yes, I understand what you guys are saying, but also remember that when Liverpool ran runners up against Man City, we lost the league by 1 point. We ended up with 90 somewhat odd points. In the following season, we ended up actually bettering ourselves and getting a higher point total. The thing is, you know what? The thing is, I understand that over the game that they played today, they didn't play their best. I'm very honest about that. But the thing is, I think honestly, don't judge Liverpool too quickly, because the team has been in many finals. They have won trophies. Quite a bit of trophies in this past 2 seasons. And you know what? I just think don't count your chickens before they hatch.
Mate, I get just so much about what you said there is true. Equally, though, I agree with Igal's point and everything else that retaining a title is a different kettle of fish to chasing a title. Is the mentality there? Is the hunger there? There's one thing go back and watch the streams. When I started hearing after you won the title that already Jurgen Klopp's made, he's talking to us. We've got to come back harder next year. We're going to be hungry. I've always sort of felt like, I don't know why I felt this. Again, it could be hope. I was like, is this lip service? Are they saying that we're going to be hungrier, not knowing if they really are? It's a hard thing to do. Look at the fact that if you go through English football at the highest level, I think it's been something like 11 times since World War II that a team has retained its title. Liverpool to do it this year, it's a rare, it's like rocking horse shit. It's rare Like, it doesn't happen very often. And I think that this notion, I think Liverpool are favourites, and I think they can do it. And I expect them to be doing it with the squad they've got. If they're the best team in the world, like their fans tell us, best goalkeeper, best centre-back, best left-back, best right-back, best midfield three, best attacking three, you have zero excuses. Absolutely none. Barring the fact that your club's been trying to sign players like Kai Havertz and Timo Werner and other individuals for a number of time. And for whatever reason, whatever PR spin you want to believe, we don't have money. It's immoral to spend money right now. Whatever you want to put it out as, you haven't gone and done it. In fact, you haven't even landed your number one left back target so far this year. You had to go for the second choice. So I just feel with Liverpool, there's a lot of confidence, and I understand why, because you've been in a brilliant place. But this notion that you're gonna, like, a lot of Liverpool fans, we're gonna break the 100-point barrier this year. I just think they're deluded themselves. I think Liverpool could win the league, but I think you're gonna no more than 85.
But the thing is, Sherry, also remember that, you know what, we always look at marquee signings being expensive signings. But if you look at a type of signing that Jurgen Klopp has made with the regards of Andy Robertson, who would say that type of player, being the price that he was, is currently one of the best left backs in the world.
What about Alisson?
What I'm saying is, I know what you're talking about, all the other players, but the thing is, what I'm saying is, Klopp generally makes signings to fit his system. And the thing is, I think we can really judge him once the season starts. Not over one charity game.
Would you not have said Werner would fit a system? Would you not have said Havertz would fit a system?
Don't you?
They would have, but they would fit his system. Ideally, Liverpool would have loved to get those players, but also they don't want to upset the dressing room as well, because they got a good team, they got a good morale, they got a winning system. They will get players. They know what they need to get. And the thing is, you know what? I believe in Klopp. We trusted in Klopp from the time he took over. He produced the goods, and we just have to leave it as that.
Also, I mean, if you look at our games last season, one of the things that we improved on, or one of the things we probably went backwards in terms of our attack, but our defense was pretty strong until the post-lockdown era, when I think some of the intensity, I think it's fair to say that some of the intensity probably dropped.
Sorry to interrupt you, Rax, but it was before that, though. You guys were on bad form before that, no?
I mean, we lost against Watford. Before that, we'd only dropped a point at United.
I mean, you played West Ham before you lost to Watford. You were shaking in that game. Atletico both games.
Inevitably,
lost to Chelsea.
Across a league season, there's going to be games that you have to.
No, but that's my point. That's when the poor run started.
I mean, we also rode our luck a little bit at the start of the season. I mean, people were saying that we were been lucky pretty much most of the season until United got all those penalties. People were saying we were getting all the luck with VAR, and then all of a sudden it became Manchester VAR or something, whatever nonsense it was. And
you lost your sense of invincibility, though. Think about it. After you lost those 2 legs to Atletico and Watford, and you lost to Man City the way you lost to them at their house, think about it. Teams will not look at you the same way. It happens. I'm not making fun of Liverpool. Liverpool are a great team. You guys have a great squad. But when you start getting found out, and it's a copycat league, when they see a way for somebody to beat your team, other teams take that and they try to manipulate and use the same scheme to win the same way. And if Liverpool cannot adjust, this is now 2 games in a row. Arsenal beat you playing defensively. If we can do this, why can't other teams look at what we've done and take that and try to manipulate it?
Because most teams can't defend in the same way that Arsenal can. Arsenal have got.
Oh wow! Since when are Arsenal amazing at defending?
No, but since Arteta's come in, I actually went to watch the Arsenal United game just after Arteta became manager. I went to the Emirates, and watched them. And you could see, even after that short period of time, Arteta was definitely, his imprint on the team was there. And you can see that grow. And I think Arteta's going to become a very good manager of Arsenal. So don't get me wrong. But
I fully agree.
I think to a certain extent about this area of invincibility and stuff is a little bit hyperbolic. Like, let's just see what happens, because you may be right, but this area of invincibility, like, I don't get me wrong, I don't think Liverpool are going to be losing.
I get what everybody's saying. I don't want us to get stuck in the weeds on this debate. I think we've gone around it. Rack's right in the sense of the proof will be in the puddings. I think some people are trying to put this down to, I'll end up the stream by saying this. I feel some people are trying to just say, first game of the season, don't worry about it, but completely and utterly ignoring the fact that in my opinion, your last sort of 15 to 20 games of the overall season, including the big break that we had in between, weren't at that 2.5 year best that we saw. There's been a dip. And my view is that if that dip remains, you can still win the league. It's still good enough to win the Premier League. Just maybe we're not going to see this overtly potent, scary, dangerous Liverpool that nobody can touch anymore. Why do I want that to happen more than anything? I'm just waiting to see the reaction from people, because when you're untouchable and no one lays a mark on you, and then suddenly you start you draw next 3 or 4 games, you lose next 3 or 4 games. The reaction of fans can be very, very different, when someone's breathing down your neck. And me, I love the social reaction element of these things, but we'll see. Equally, this could just be a flash in the pan result. You win your opening 7 or 8 Premier League games, and me and a go, and everyone looks stupid. I don't know if that's going to happen. I know Monstar and the Chelsea boys think they're going to slap you.
It's definitely not happening.
We're going to finally get a point away at Anfield.
Bring it on.
We're going to beat you guys at Anfield.
Yeah, what's it? Egal, you've got game week 3. We've got game week 2.
Look at the last time we played your
Arsenal to beat Liverpool at Anfield, it will be like Arsenal winning the Champions League. Almost impossible.
Hey!
They don't lie. Don't lie.
Remember, they got 3 years. They've got 3 years to do that. Willian's gonna.
Yeah, I know. They got 3 years to do it.
You guys said the same thing against City. You guys said the same thing against Liverpool at home. You guys said the same thing against Chelsea in the FA Cup final. So this is football. Anyone can win, and I trust my team.
Yeah, so but Egal, I trust Liverpool's board and I trust Chelsea's board far more than I trust your board.
Hey, wasn't Marina Granovskaya getting pelters from the Chelsea fans? Trusting the Chelsea board. When you signed Bakayoko and
but Marina's not a scout.
They were saying get rid of Marina. What are you talking about?
No, guys, stop.
I understand.
Guys, we're not going to
do your transfers.
Guys, we're not going to do this now because I'm doing a lot of research into the boards and the transfers that people have done, and I want to do a show on it. What I will reveal as it stands right now, I've only done the marquee signings. I haven't gone into the first signings done. But when you compare Chelsea and Man United over the past 7 seasons, and I do that because Woodward is supposedly the worst. The average days it takes not from the window opening, because that's the 1st of July, and that doesn't give a fair reflection because you could sign a player in May, but they still sign on the 1st of July, right? So I go from the 1st of June for every team, because that's when theoretically teams break up and go on their holidays. The whole competition's end, right? So from the 1st of June onwards, this year's different because, of course, the way it messed up. So the last 7 years, it averagely takes 64 days for Chelsea, or if you use the medium number, it's 69 days for Chelsea to sign their marquee player. It takes Man United 64 days on average and 69 days as a minimum to sign their average player. And also, we just go back 7, 6, 5, 4, 3 years ago and look at a lot of Chelsea's big signings. I go back to the summer of the Bakayoko. Chelsea fans were saying the same thing about all those signings as they're saying that. I didn't really realize that until I started doing this research. And I look back and I was going, I remember everybody being like, oh my God, how the hell can anybody touch Chelsea? How can anybody get anywhere near them with these signings they're bringing in? And
they signed a lot of players from Monaco, isn't it? And
but this is
clearly a bad idea.
No, but as I say, I've done the marquee signings for all the top 6. I'm now going through the first signings is long because I don't know who. United, I knew who our first signings were. I'm having to see who they signed first. And what I'm basically working out is the average and medium amount of days it takes for clubs to sign. What I will say is that Liverpool and City are better than Manchester United in terms of first signings and marquee signings, but it's not as dramatically better as people make out. And that's what's interesting. And the reason I want to do this show, and I'm going to bring the facts to the table, the reason I'm going to want to do it is because people are, and David just did it there, people are indoctrinated very, very quickly and very, very fickle in terms of, our ball. Man United fans do it. If we landed Van der Beek tomorrow and then Sancho the day after, there'd be all the memes of, like Ed Woodward pointing up saying like, that's my guy type thing. They'd love him again. That's how fickle we are. But we'll do that show another day. Boys, I appreciate you all coming on and having your say. Everyone, please smash the like button, hit the share button as well. Massive numbers on this show tonight. I think we've done somewhere in the region of 25,000 views for Community Shield Game, which is amazing. Thank you all for subscribing. We've just gone past 153,000 subscribers. And as I also did this morning, big up Mark Goldbridge. It was a private conversation me and him had this morning about some of the stick I was taking on social media in the last 24 hours. It's nice to see someone like him have my back even with our history collectively. So again, shout out to you, Mark Goldbridge, for doing that. Meant a great deal to me this morning. So thank you to everyone who's tuned in. Thank you. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon.